Hi, my name is Mr. Payton. Welcome to Financial Literacy. I've been very fortunate to have some wonderful students over the years, some wonderful mentors. And one of the things that had always come up is, why are we learning this in school? What do we need to do this for? And, with as many successes I have had some failures in terms of being able to reach students or keep them in school or things like that. And whether you think that's my responsibility or not, I've always taken it that way. Most recently, I had a student tell me that they were just done. They're not going to go to high school anymore, and that if I could come up with some type of curriculum of lessons and activities that, I thought would be important for an adult, that person would use it. And so I took that challenge head on. And so I've created a life skills program. It includes 3 areas that I think are important. We know that mental health is very difficult, and so I came up with something called mental fitness in order to address the ability to build those mental muscles throughout the school year. So the program is for kindergartners through high school students. I also came up with a communication skills curriculum, which is really focused on teaching young people how to communicate what it is they want to do, whether it's through a resume, a presentation, or even just the way that they dress. And finally, I created a financial literacy curriculum as well. Now, keep in mind, there are many different programs like this on many different platforms for adults and things like that. What I thought was important is that I haven't seen in my 20 plus years of education anything that's specifically targeted K through 8 or K through 12 students. And so that's what I believe is unique about what it is that I'm doing. Financial literacy in particular is something that's near and dear to my heart, and I'd like to share a story with you if you don't mind. I'm one of 4. There were 2 boys, 2 girls, and for the majority of my life there was just my mom. My mom was married for a short time, but that didn't go well, and so it was just my mother, my older sister, and my younger sister. The only reason why my brother wasn't there is because he had gotten old enough to go to college and he was out doing his own thing. But he experienced everything that I experienced and then some. So as a young person, there was always these different situations that had something to do with money. The car doesn't start. So we would always, plan to go places like an hour early, like if I had a football game or a basketball game, because there was always a chance that the car wasn't going to start. We might have to walk or get a ride. So stuff like that stuck in my head. Looking at my clothes and seeing that they didn't fit quite right, or I couldn't get the newest stuff. And I never complained about that, but I didn't like the feeling. I didn't like how people looked at me. And so, look at Sebastian, look at his jacked up shoes. Well, I would roast them and bag on them. And if that didn't work, we would have a fight. And I'm not saying I was a good fighter. I just was willing to fight. I was a willing fighter. So I didn't have the greatest record fighting, but I just was one of those people, man. You mess with me, we have to go. But there's one particular scenario that really sticks in my head, and it was the grocery store. It only happened a couple of times, man, but that's all it takes is a couple of times. My mom would have, the shopping cart just full of stuff. I mean, almost falling out of stuff. And if you have a shopping cart full of stuff, it's pretty safe to say you didn't do a budget. You didn't come up with a shopping list. You just put stuff in. And if you did do a shopping list, you abandoned it at some point and just started putting stuff in the basket. So you get up to the register and you realize that what you put in the basket is more money than you actually have in your pocket. You can't write a check for it. You ain't got enough cash for it. And back then, I don't believe my mom could have qualified for a credit card. I don't recall her ever having one. So what do you have to do while everybody is standing behind you? Take food out and put it back. So now people are moaning and groaning behind you, and people are not nice about these situations because everybody's tired. They don't want to be there. Oh, come on, man. Y'all can't afford that, really? And they're just yelling out stuff. And, I was old enough and big enough to want to do something. My mom would just kind of nod her head. Don't worry about it. And I just felt so embarrassed. I was so angry. How in the world could we have gotten more groceries than we could afford? How did that happen? And so I told myself that will never happen to me again. Furthermore, if I ever see someone in that situation, I'm going to help them. And so it has actually happened a couple of times, and I don't even have the words for what I felt and how good it felt to help these people out. So there was a young lady She had a baby in tow in one arm and a younger child walking with. And she got to that point and she was going to have to take stuff out of the bag. And anybody who's a kid knows what I'm talking about. Anybody who's lived the life I've lived know where I'm going with this. When your parents take stuff out, they don't take out vegetables. You know, they don't take out the wheat bread. They take out the good stuff. The name brand cereal, the ice cream, the cookies, all the stuff you were looking forward to eating, they take all that stuff out. They don't take out none of the stuff you don't want to eat, like liverwurst, you know, stuff like that. So I see this lady and I see the person at the register, because this is a young person who had never, you can tell, had never been in this situation. And I just gave them a nod and pointed to myself. And I said, let her go. And she was pointing to the number on the screen saying, are you sure? Because she's like off by a lot. I said, and I'm saying to her, let her go. So we get up there and I think the lady was like 50 or 60 over. And I said, no problem, you know, whatever, I pay for it. And she didn't realize what happened. And I don't care that she didn't realize what happened. But somebody behind me said, did you just take care of the lady's bill? And I said, yeah. And she, as I was getting my stuff, she said, why'd you do that? I said, because I used to be her. I was the kid standing next to the shopping cart with my sister. And I said, I'm never going to let somebody else go through that. You don't know what that does to someone. Another situation I can think of is being in school and going on field trips. And, you know, having that janky sack lunch in the paper bag where your mom has like fried some bologna so the grease is coming through the bag or something like that. And you got like some really small bag of chips that's in a plastic bag, not a real bag of chips that has a name on it, but the chips that's left over from the house is like all the crumbly parts and all. Like that's your lunch. You know, and your mom say, go drink some water at the water fountain. Like this is a real lunch. This is a real situation. Then you got the kid. See, back when I was growing up, because I'm 47, you know, you ain't had no Lunchables, but if you had like a lunch that was pre-packed, that meant you had money. Or, you know, you actually had a lunchbox. And it was all nice and everything was packaged nicely and all cute. You know, you just sit there like, no, I didn't want to eat my lunch, man. I'm going to go really far away. And then the piece de resistance. You're in the gift shop and you want, I remember they used to have, you guys know what I'm talking about, they have these little plastic airplanes where it's like a body and it's painted on, looks like an airplane, and all you do is slide the wings through. Anybody who knows what I'm talking about, make a comment, man. You know what I'm talking about. And you just buy that plane, it has a little propeller on the front, and you can throw it. That plane can't fly worth a crap, but you just wanted to be able to get one. And back in my day, that would cost anywhere between like 50 cents to $1 if you got a really nice one. There was no way I was getting one of them planes. We ain't had no dollar. No, a dollar for every kid? No way. It was only 3 of us, but still, it wasn't no extra dollars. So when I became a teacher, man, I would go to the cafeteria, and this is standard issue now. Anybody who works at Title I schools knows what I'm talking about. They would ask how many lunches you need. They pack lunch. We usually have too much food. But the thing I did, that I always did, is I either fundraised or I did it on my own. I made sure that I bought something from the gift shop, one for every student. I wanted every student after they got out of the field trip to be able to reach in the bag and grab something, because I said no one else is going to feel that way if I'm around. And so that's just the impact that finances had on my life as a child. As an adult, I've been fortunate to make some solid decisions. And so by no means am I rich, but I'm doing okay. God willing, my daughter will never see any of the things that I ever dealt with. You know, she has her own room. She's already ahead of me. I have my own room. You know, I was sharing a room at all times. And so she's only known us to be comfortable, and hopefully she'll know that and then some. So that is the why. That is why I thought it was important to create a financial literacy program. I want young people, starting in kindergarten, first and second, to start to think about what's the difference between needs and wants. I want elementary school students to start thinking about what is money? What did we do before we had money? What does it mean to barter? What does it mean to trade? When we start getting to middle school, we start talking about money management, our needs and wants. What do we really need to buy and what do we want to buy? And finally, when we get to our high school kids, we're talking about money management, budgeting. We're talking about growing money. And then possibly we're talking about building our own businesses, branding ourselves. We're in a day and age where kids are no longer saying, I want to go to college. They're saying, I just want to be a YouTuber. And that's all good. But you got to figure out how to do that. How do you monetize your site? Do you have content that's valuable? Or are you just trying to copy the latest booty shaking video? We got to keep it real when we're doing this stuff, you guys. So me doing a financial literacy program is for one reason, so that nobody ever has to feel the way I felt as a kid, to give yourself that opportunity as an adult to provide a better life for you and anybody else who depends on you. So I hope that you find some value in the videos that are to come. They are in 3 areas. We look at the value of money, we're looking at money management, and we're looking at money growth or growing money. So hopefully those 3 areas are of value to you. And with each area, I'm going to do what I call little money situations. They're going to be kind of short, where you just kind of look at the situation and see what you think you should do. I'll lay out some factors and let you kind of answer the questions on your own. So looking forward to sharing this information with you. I want to thank you for paying attention thus far. And without further ado, here's my financial literacy program. Thank you.